Oh my God.
Whoa.
In my ears.
That is loud and quick.
I know, man.
About that.
Hey, you wanted short. You got like 2 seconds.
Jesus, it went from 5 minutes long to 2 seconds long. There's got to be a medium somewhere.
I know. I went the other way. I was like, we got to get into this thing.
Okay.
Well, good morning, Deacon.
Hello.
I need to turn our gain down.
That didn't give me enough. That didn't give me enough time to prepare. I don't like that at all.
You didn't have time to get your zipper up or anything.
I want you to run the other one. To be honest.
Oh yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like just starting. Sorry, I know we just started, but I don't like that. I've got to prepare.
Yeah. All right. I'll work on it. I need some feedback.
Okay, yeah. I didn't like that.
All right. Hey, good morning, man. Get ready as you need to. I'm just going to talk about myself for a minute because I am a raging narcissist. First of all, it's the weekend, and like you think like, oh, I'm going to have all kinds of time to do all kinds of stuff, and I'm just I don't know what I think it was the time change, and it should have been like, oh, we got an extra hour of sleep. I mean, my wife got an extra hour of sleep, but I was up at the crack of dawn yesterday because my daughter didn't get the clue that the time changed. So she was like up way, way early. And I was like, I got to get up early so that my wife can sleep. So me and my daughter are watching Empire Strikes Back at like 6 a.m. yesterday. And then, I mean, just all day, I'm just exhausted. So I would go to bed like just dirt tired. And I didn't do any prep for the show. Like I did none. I did a little bit of prep to reorganize the background video yesterday and fix up my title cards, but I didn't do any gathering stories like I should have been doing. I was highly irresponsible as a host. So, and then I wake up this morning about an hour before the show and I'm like, okay, I can do this. But I have one of those mornings where you wake up and like you're nothing works. You just like, I'm awake, but like I was clawing my way out of unconsciousness. My brain is slow and haggard. So I did find some stories this morning. I obviously have a title. I see there's a little bit of a trend of things. I am as eager as the rest of you to get out of this political season, to see what happens.
Jesus
and then
Christ, me too. The local shit. That's what I'm arguing about right now. The local shit. There's this local girl that is actually running against and has run this smear campaign against a guy that I've known for my whole life.
Oh, really?
And for a judicial seat. And she has bought like 12 ads. They've been smearing him and doing some nasty stuff. And she's bought 12 ads at our station. And the guy hasn't sent me. That's what I'm sitting here trying to figure out. The guy hasn't sent me the script, but I have to quick insert 12 of these ads today. And the ad basically says,
you have to run these smear ads.
Wants to let voters know that in order to officially elect her on November 8th, even though her opponent has been removed from office, they will still need to fill in the blah, 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 blah. And I had to email my coworker at the other station and said, I'm going to wait for you to send it to me because I hate that bitch and hope she loses. And I'm just not reading that. I just can't do it. I've refused to read stuff before and endorse people before when I was a bigger name in the area and on the bigger morning show. I had some actual name clout there for a long time.
Did you have that autonomy as a broadcaster to declare?
Dude, let me tell you, this is a straight up true story. I'm not lying in this whatsoever. A straight up true story. Okay, so I got to leave this on. So if that's blinding people for a while, I'm sorry. I usually try to turn it off to keep from blinding people, but I've got to have it right now.
Deacon's an angel, guys.
What was I telling? Oh, the picture story. So when me and my ex-wife were engaged, we were going to get our engagement pictures made and get them put in the paper, like all the newly engaged folks do when they're 18 and 19.
Oh, yes.
They get their pictures made and put in the paper. So we were going to get professional pictures made. And at this time, I am on the morning show. It's the #1 morning show in the area. It's on a hot AC adult contemporary hot, that plays the most popular music. It was, top 40 music. And I was on the morning show for that. So I was a name. I was a clout. So we called the place, and I used a fake name. I didn't use Andy. I went by Drew. You know, the other part of Andrew.
Right.
I went
Yeah.
by
Right.
Drew. And so I could hear my ex-wife on the phone, and she was talking to the picture place, and the picture place could not get us in for like 3 weeks. They did not have an appointment for a long time out. And I could hear how the conversation was going, and it usually went like this. I only heard one side of the conversation normally when somebody says this, but they'll be talking about me, and they'll be like, "Oh, he can't. He works that day," and then it'll go, "Oh, well, he works in radio. Oh, he works on blah 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 station. Oh, well, he's Drew." And then she turned around and looked at me and she smiled. I swear to God, I can remember this like it was yesterday. We were sitting in our little townhouse apartment that we had. She turned around and she smiled and she looked at me and she said, "They can get us in tomorrow at 9 a.m., Drew." She never. And so it
Hey,
happened before where people recognized my voice and whatnot, which was, it was kind of cool at the
you
time.
got to use
I
it.
liked
If you
that.
got it, you got to use it.
But yeah, that's why I'm trying to figure this crap out this morning. I've had this election shit's driving me nuts. Circling back around to what you said about
Yeah.
election,
Right. Right.
this
Right.
even the local election stuff is driving me bonkers this morning. I might
Well,
have
you know,
to. I actually might have to dip out
yeah. Okay.
for half a second in order to record one line.
All
Because if I
right.
record it, it'll go over this, but it's a national spot line. So if I say this
Oh,
national spot's name on our show, I might get in
well, if you,
trouble. So
over on the left side over there, just make sure to toggle yourself out for, you know what I mean?
I even think if I mute myself, if I wonder if I mute.
Nothing. There's nothing there. He's testing something out. All right. Wow. You guys didn't know that you were so fortunate to have a real celebrity on this show, and it's not me. It's not me. It's Deacon, aka Drew, aka the voice of Kentucky, the Kentucky Killer. All right, so when he's kind of messing with that, the elections are like they're almost here. And by the way, don't let me to discourage you. If you haven't already, get your ass out of your lazy boy and climb into your car or take an Uber or something and go to the library and go vote. If you haven't voted yet, you need to either do your part to get somebody into office or get somebody out of office. And believe you me, the odds are you could throw a dart and hit any representative and they should be out of office almost certainly. So get out there and do something and vote. And don't just vote ignorant. Go up there, at least check out who you're voting for in advance. I mean, there's all kinds of resources, but just go look up whoever is your representative, your senator, whatever. Find out what's going on and go vote. I mean, do your part. You want me
No,
and Deacon to carry water for you?
no, you are exactly
Trying to
right.
save the country.
You
Oh, he's muted again. He's muted again. I didn't do that.
you are exactly right. You're exactly right, and you're what you were saying. I just want to reiterate that just for a little bit. I just want to
Yeah, yeah,
underline
yeah.
what you said. Please educate yourself on what these candidates do. Even if you only have a couple of days, you can do that very easily, even with your local candidates, even with your candidates for state that you might not know anything about. Just educate yourself on what they are and who they believe, and not from their website. Look on a couple of websites. Just take 20 minutes to do that before you
I
vote.
mean, yeah. So I didn't. I don't know if I talked about this on the show. I actually went and voted early, like I don't know, a week or 10 days ago, and in advance of going to go vote, I got the sample ballot from my county, and I went down the ballot. I mean, I'll be honest. The first thing I did was take a marker and write a big fat X through all the Democrats. Sorry, I vote no Democrats, but I legitimately went down and looked at all of the alternates. So there's the Republican, the Green, the Libertarian. I went down and I looked at them. I looked at from the top of the ballot down the Libertarians running for office, and I voted for Libertarian a bunch of times, and they always lose. But
Yeah, well, yeah.
but they're for liberty, right?
We
So
can't
this is what
stop
I did.
voting for them, though. We can't just
Mm-mm.
because you
Because
know
it
that they're
puts
going to
pressure on
lose, because it puts yeah, you're right. You're right, dude.
It puts pressure on. So I went top of ballot down, and I looked at the Libertarian candidate for governor, and I was like, okay, let me go check out the Libertarian candidate for governor. And I went to his website, I looked at his issues, and I was like, all right. And then I also checked the funding that he has, and he had like no funding. And his website was not super great. It was like kind of this or that. And on the issue of governor, I was like, you know what I like? I like the fact that Greg Abbott, by sending just a couple of buses and spending a couple $1,000,000 and relocating migrants that were going to go somewhere where they wanted to go anyway, he has raised immigration and border policy from an issue that is ignored at the national level for generations. He has raised that to an issue of like, you better do something about this because there's 300,000 people coming into the country a month, and there's all kinds of rampant crime, there's drugs or whatever. So Greg Abbott has raised that up to a national level with some buses. That's impressive to me. He's done some other stuff, and he's handled a couple of emergencies. And honestly, I don't want to see Beto O'Rourke be governor. So so on that regard. But then I went to the lieutenant governor seat. And in the state of Texas, the lieutenant governor is in some ways more powerful than the governor. So I went down to see who's running for lieutenant governor, and I checked out the libertarian candidate for lieutenant governor. And it was Sheena Steele or something like that. And I went to her website, and her website said, steal the vote, whatever. And then it said lorem ipsum. It was a straight out of the box, not modified template website that they just put her name on with a stock photo, and they didn't do any work. Her entire campaign had like $350 in donations. I was like, there's no way I'm going to vote for, a libertarian. The Libertarian Party candidate for lieutenant governor of Texas spent like $300 for the entire campaign. I was like, no, you guys didn't do any.
Oh,
You didn't know. You
you're not gonna
didn't
get
earn it
yes.
at all.
Yeah, you're gonna get them out.
Come on, guys. I could have run for lieutenant governor and put more effort into that than this. And there were a couple of way down ballot libertarians for like county justice and stuff. So I put them in, but we'll see. Anyway, regardless, get off of your fat ass, zip up your pants, and go vote. Do your part.
How'd you know? What the hell?
All right. Yeah, I know. Hey, Deacon. Do you know where I live?
You got to forgive my look here lately with my crazy hair and my beard. I'm growing it out.
Handsome, sir.
I'm growing it out. I know you live in just outside of Houston. I wasn't going to say your town.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Just outside of Houston. I know the name of the town. It's a.
Oh, yeah, you don't you?
It's got a ville in it.
No, but it's not unlikely. I know what you mean. I live in the burbs of Houston, out in the suburbs, outside of. Yeah, dude, this is a good movie. Outside of Houston, about 20 miles away from the center of town.
Do you seriously live in the what would be classified as the suburbs, the burbs?
Oh yeah, for sure, totally. Yeah, and about like 5 miles when we were shopping for houses, like we looked down in these development areas about 5 miles south of here, and they were building houses that were so close that you could stand between them and touch. And I was like,
well, that's what I was going to ask. Do you live in one of those? Do you live in one of those crazy neighborhoods where every house looks? There's like 2 or 3 different style houses, and they're all the.
No, I think our neighborhood just kind of looks like normal. I mean, the model of the house is reused a couple of different times, but honestly, I can't tell that you can you can't tell from the street which ones have interior the same. Like there's our house, and then we had a friend that lived like I don't know, like 1-2 streets over from here. She lived in a house down the street. She now works for Facebook and is making like $1 bajillion or something.
Oh, really?
But
cool.
Yeah, she's cool.
Oh,
she's cool. I don't know if she knows that I do a political talk show. She might not be happy about me, but Anyway, they actually had the same floor plan as our house, but it was reversed, and you couldn't really tell. And our house is 2 stories, and there's a lot of 1 story, so it's kind of mixed around here. So they have like
That's cool.
it's not
Okay.
like it's not like a stamp, 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 stamp.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's not like that. But I definitely live in the suburbs. I know I'm going somewhere with this. Oh, right. Suburbs of Houston. Deacon, I'm sure that you've been like clamoring to talk about this. Did you know that the Houston Astros just won the World Series?
I saw that there was some football games on this weekend, and really cool. Yeah.
Hey, you're stealing my joke because my joke was like,
Sorry.
not only did I learn that the Houston Astros won the World Series, this weekend I learned that there was a World Series and that we were in it. I had no idea. None. Saturday night, somebody's like, "Oh, we're at Game 6. We're doing," and or maybe it was Saturday night. I was like, "Oh, seriously? We're in the
Man,
World Series? That's cool." And they're like, "Yeah, this is the second time." I was like, "Oh, we've won this before." I had no idea.
I uh I work hard, for my money.
Yeah.
I'm always on the job. I had to work over the weekend when I wasn't scheduled to work. Always do that. I work hard for my money, so I like to spend my money, appropriately. And
Hmm.
when
Yeah.
when people bitch now about inflation and not having enough money to do this, and rent's so high and mortgages are so high, and I don't have any enough
Hey,
money to
hey,
do this. Okay, wait a
don't
minute. I'm
worry.
getting to a
It's
point. I'm
going up.
getting to a point. And people are bitching all the time about money, me included, about everything going up. I don't want to hear a goddamned
Mm.
word. I
Mm-mm.
don't want it. You might want to hit the little.
Yeah, the little graphic-y
I
thing.
don't want to hear
He
a
was ready to go.
word from you fucking people about how hard and how expensive things are when I saw ticket prices for a goddamned baseball game this weekend. I
How much
have
were they?
taken my child and my children to baseball games just for their and spent more money than I really thought was necessary, but I wanted to give them a memory. But you fucking people that spend $5,000
Holy holy
ticket
hell.
$3,000 a ticket to a baseball game,
Hmm.
you people have more money than you have sense in your damned head. Period. I don't care if you're mad at
Wow.
me and you call me every name in the book. That doesn't change the fact that you have more money than you have sense.
That's not how I would spend $5,000 or $3,000
No,
or any $1,000. I would spend. That was pretty much the last thing in the world that I would spend.
I
If
don't
if
want to
my if
hear
my
you.
wife was like, JJ, let's go to a baseball game, I'd be like, oh, okay. How much are the tickets? Like $50, 25, $50, and it's 3,000. Fuck you. I'm not going. Not only am I not going, you're not going. Not ever. Fuck
I
that.
seriously saw some, and what it was a guy that was bitching about some the fees,
Yeah.
and he had bought 2 tickets at $2,500 a piece, and just the fees were $700, and he wanted to know what the fees were that equaled $700. Can you imagine
Wow.
spending like, JJ, we're going to go to the World Series and we're going to see your favorite team, the Houston Astros, and then we get there and we spend 7, 8, $9,000 for this experience, and they fucking lose, and it's just some regular fucking baseball game that we could have went to with a bunch of fucking drunk people.
Right?
Sorry, I'll quit
Man.
cussing. I know
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of people
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
like me
yeah.
cussing.
Yeah, earmuffs, please. We got to
I
watch
can't
out
help
for
it.
Manuel's. We got Manuel's kid in the car
Oh,
probably.
Manuel's kid. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Earmuffs.
I
Pardon us.
apologize about my cussing. Me and cuss words are that's one of the things that I can argue with people about is offensive words, and
Mhm.
that's bullshit. The only reason you're offended by that word is because somebody a
He's
long time
in the
ago
middle
told
of the
I know,
apology.
in the middle of apology, I'm cussing. The only reason you're
We
told that word was offensive, the only reason you're offended by that word is because somebody a long time ago told you that that word was offensive.
right.
That's the only reason you're
Uh,
offended by is because you were told that that word was offensive. It's not
yeah.
offensive to you.
Oh my god.
You were told it was offensive, so it's bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the only reason you think anything about anything, to be honest, is somebody told you to think something about it. That's the truth. That's the truth about everything.
I'm
Everything.
sorry.
Somebody
I'm
told you
sorry. I
something.
really I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Hey,
I
yeah,
would have.
I'm not down on you because I do the same thing. I know I've done it. But I am trying to
I'm bad
grow
about it.
individually for you guys and for my kids. And we lost a viewer. We lost a viewer. Please don't leave. All right.
I don't care. Go down
Houston
to
Astros defeated Philadelphia Phillies this weekend in a 4-1 win, delivered a long time. Who gives a shit? Anyway, Astros, congratulations, Houston. Have a vicarious victory. Before we talk politics and get our blood pressure up and whatnot, I thought maybe we could talk about a couple of other things too. First and most importantly, have you seen, Deacon, the ads for this movie called Black Adam?
Mhm.
And aren't you just like, I know you haven't been to the movies in a long time, but if you were going to go to the movies, would it be for Dwayne the Rock Johnson as a superhero?
All right, is this a serious question?
I mean, let me phrase it a different way. How much money would you be willing to spend on a ticket to watch Dwayne the Rock Johnson in a tight clothes as a superhero?
How much money would I be willing to spend on
Sure.
a ticket?
Yeah.
That's hard. When's it streaming?
It's not streaming yet. I think that's going to be part of the problem.
Will it stream within the next 25 to 30 years? Because if so, I'm not spending any fucking money on Dwayne the Rock
None.
Johnson.
Ooh. Can't get you down. Let's see. I'm putting some. Oh, that's not good. That is. Oh, where are we at here? Okay. So the opening weekend of Black Adam, it made about $67 million,
Okay.
which is decent, I guess. And it's now been out 3 weeks. It's in 4,000 theaters. So it's like maxed out in terms of theaters. And it's on track to do about as well as have you seen, do you like those Fast and Furious movies? Fast and Furious, the ones where they drive cars and like rob banks or something. Maybe it's on
Huh?
track to perform at Fast and Furious. Have you seen the Fast and Furious movies? No. Okay. So it appears to be on track to perform about as good as Hobbs and Shaw. Maybe it'll outperform it.
What's Hobbs and Shaw?
Yeah, it's a Fast and Furious spinoff, but it's the one
Oh,
that was basically a Rock, Dwayne the Rock Johnson like centerpiece film. So this little orange line that you can probably barely see is the performance of Black Adam. Now, Black Adam right now, this is only the third weekend of the show. But it's Monday morning. I thought maybe we could cover movie news and stuff, and then give us something to talk about in the
all
future.
right.
Plus,
That's
I
cool.
like
Yeah.
movies. I like
Yeah.
movies. Here, this purple line at the bottom, this is Wonder Woman 1984. You can see that it was a box office failure at $46 million. It
What is
cost
this?
like
All just
200.
DC movies?
Well, I mean, I figured that was fair competition, right?
Okay.
Like fair
I just didn't
performance.
know which one I was looking at here.
I got a list here at the bottom here. So we have Black
Uh-huh.
Adam and Shazam and Suicide Squad and then Wonder Woman. And then there's also this The Rock movie from 2019. All
I
of
haven't
these
seen any
cost
of those.
nearly $200 million, except for Shazam. Shazam cost $85 million to make,
And that's
right?
the only one that I would consider watching out of all 5 of those
Well,
movies.
Shazam cost $85 million to make, and it made $140 million, which I don't know if you know how math works, but that's a profit.
It is. Wow.
Now, when you see a movie cost $85 million, you have to add about half again as much for marketing budget that they don't put in here. So, $85 million was the production cost, and then there's probably like another 40 in marketing. So that probably may cost 120, but it's still at 120 made, some millies, and it got a sequel. It's Black Adam is the sequel to Shazam. So Black Adam though costs like 3 times as much, or 2.5 times as much as Shazam, because it stars The Rock and whatever. And opening weekend, did we get 2.5 times performance? No. Opening weekend, it made like $10 million more. So now so that's the Shazam is the red line, and then there's this orange line that is tracking performance. So in order for Black Adam to be a smashing success, it would need to make like twice as much money as Shazam. And I don't know if it's going to make that much money. So anyway, and I'm not really down on it. I mean, like I would watch it, but I mean, to be honest, I would not pay a movie ticket price to go watch it. I'd watch it on HBO if it comes out, or, yeah, I don't really know. So anyway, that's the only big movie that's in theaters right now until we see Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which is in box offices like in 2 or 3 days. So that's the most recent blockbuster, Black Adam. I say blockbuster, it's a tentpole franchise. Yeah. So we'll have to see how this performs and how Black Panther. I mean, honestly, Black Panther is going to probably smash this, right? It's going to make $130 million like opening weekend.
Just on name recognition, it will.
Yeah. I mean, that's the expectation.
I hate to say that, but that's the truth. Just on name recognition, Black Panther will have a great weekend. But after the third, well, just come back in a month, because
we're gonna track it. We're gonna watch it.
Yeah, the third weekend. Mark my words. The third weekend of Black Panther will be the plummet weekend, if it's not the second weekend. So people just don't care anymore. And I honestly think the people that didn't give 2 shits about superhero movies back in the day, there's more of them now, and more of us that are superhero geeks that grew up as comic book kids that don't give a shit anymore. I grew up as a comic book kid, man, and I don't give 2 shits anymore about superhero movies. I'm really sick of them, to be honest.
There's a bit of fatigue.
And yeah, they've ruined them and did what they want. And they decide that I'm going to take your favorite characters and change their races and change their genders and change their powers and tell them backstories.
How's that for a marketing strategy?
They do whatever they want. And it takes the people that were the fan base. We were the fan base.
Right.
We're not anymore.
That's true.
So what are you trying to do? You're trying to hook all these new people that didn't like it in the first damn place.
I mean, if you kind of like step back and think of it objectively, you have movie, audiences. Yeah, you got it. Okay. So you have movie audiences that are pre-primed to like characters because they grew up reading them or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then your marketing strategy is, okay, we're going to take the characters that you know and love, and we're going to make them totally unrecognizable. And not at all what you imagined when you were growing up, and that'll hook you. And the medium term effect here has been, oh, you guys have been doing this for the last 10 years, and like, okay, so cancel Batgirl, nobody cares. Cancel whatever, like whatever, it doesn't matter to me. By the way, Manuel went and watched Black Adam, and he thought it was okay. I haven't got to the Kathy Griffin thing yet, Manuel, and I'm glad you're in late, because we started talking and we got a little rowdy, and we don't want your daughter to hear that part. So don't go back and listen. But I chastised Deacon. I said, Deacon, stop cussing so much, D. Jeremy, no, I got your video. I started watching it. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I haven't got all the way through it yet. And I will look at it. Okay. So I just basically, what I'm doing here, Deacon, is I'm setting the foundation for a little bit of legitimacy between you and me to discuss movies going forward in the future, and to get familiar with like this tool, especially this is called the numbers.com. So you can see like domestic box office and some production budget, whatever. And then here in this column, you can see this last weekend. So the whatever 5th and 6th weekend, the Black Adam movie that made $67 million opening weekend is down 33% over the last weekend. So it's down considerably, and it had like a 60% drop the first weekend. So it dropped again. It's only pulling in 20, and it's not going to really go up from this. I don't feel like there's any word of mouth. I don't hear people talking about it, but we'll check this in, and we'll be doing more movie news type stuff. Now I'm going to close this, and it's going to give me a big old pig. Oh, it's good. It's right back. It's correct. Okay. So I was going to get to Twitter vis-a-vis and also talk about Kathy Griffin, I think, vis-a-vis this very important election story.
No.
You don't want to talk about Kathy Griffin?
No, because the only fucking reason she done that was to keep her goddamn name in the news. Okay? What has this done? This hasn't done anything to her but keep her name up on top of people's freaking minds. I'm not giving that stupid bitch any of my time.
It wasn't that important. All right.
No, not important at all.
Well, she got herself banned. That's it.
That's all you're getting.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
That's the only if you think about it seriously, that's the only reason she did that, JJ.
It's the only reason she does anything.
Doing it. That's the only reason she does anything is because people forgot who the shit she was back in 1996.
Manuel says he's excited for Black Panther. It's always love what people can do with visual effects and
absolutely
graphics. Manuel, I'm totally down to get your reaction. So you remain the official movie correspondent for our show.
This Black Panther looks more like I would watch it than the other one, because I don't give two craps about watching the other one other than maybe some backstory to this one, because this one with Namor and Atuma look very interesting to me. Honestly, it's like, really? Oh, cool. We're telling another story besides Thanos and Avengers. Yeah, let's tell something freaking different. So that actually is kind of
Namor. We'll see. Namor. It doesn't. I find it's just so. I was thinking about this the other day. Isn't one of Namor's catchphrases? Isn't one of his like things that he says routinely in the comics Imperious Rex?
Imperious Rex. I forgot
Imperious Rex. So how are you going to say that with a Latin accent? Imperious Rex.
I'm putting that accent on there. That's not what he sounds like. I don't know.
He was never Hispanic to start with. He was like a Greek Roman kind of like idea.
Yeah, I never had that voice in my head. I
don't get it.
Always thought that he would have some sort of little merman.
From here. Okay, so even Manuel is in agreement with us that it's not Namor, it's Namor. Come on, Marvel. But hey, listen, this is the movie that's coming out. This is what people will have heard in their ears. This is what normie normkins that never touched a comic book in their life. This is what it's going to be, and then it's going to be Namor for the rest of the time. That's what it's going to
be. Didn't Ricky Martin sing a song? Namor. Let I put it. Oh, so I don't know.
I'm not as much of a Ricky Martin aficionado as you, sir. So I'll give it to you. Deacon.
Sorry for being alive and having a heart in the 90s, okay? Sorry.
Oh, okay. Here, Deacon, one of the most important political endorsements has just dropped. It's Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris has endorsed Blake Masters in Arizona. And so
Chuck Norris
you may be speechless.
Does not simply endorse a candidate. He informs them of the result.
Yes, that's right. That's right. This is not only, that's the best thing about Chuck. Chuck Norris comes out saying it, and you immediately get a tidal wave of Chuck Norris jokes.
My favorite Chuck Norris one ever is Chuck Norris went to a feminist rally and he came back with his shirt ironed and a sandwich.
That's great. That is great. Okay.
Oh,
So Chuck Norris does not simply endorse a candidate. He informs them of results before anybody else knows
and on
knows it.
dodgeball, when they go to the third judge and it's Chuck Norris, and he goes,
Okay, so we've got Chuck endorsing the Arizona to candidate Blake Masters. We obviously have the Kerry Lake, like running the tables over in Arizona. It looks like all signals indicate that there's about to be a massive Republican turnout, and either Democrats are not going to the polls or they're just not winning. That could be wrong, though. As we've covered multiple times on the show, the polls are not reliable. Polling methodology is severely decreased in just what they're capable of doing, what they're capable of measuring anymore. It's just much more difficult. To add to the political stew that we are stirring up before tomorrow, because obviously tomorrow's election day, we have Donald Trump kind of shaking the box a little bit, and he debuted Trump comes up with these like nicknames for political figures. He had like
yeah,
Pocahontas for what's her name,
Elizabeth Warren.
yeah, Sleepy Joe Biden, that kind of stuff. So he has debuted his nickname for his political rival, Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida.
Yeah.
By all accounts, someone quite well liked by the MAGA base. In fact, and there's a lot of part of the MAGA, Make America Great, America First policies, the America First populists that like Ron more than Trump. It's like America First policies, but without the incendiary cartoon man. So Trump has mocked Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, debuting the name Ron DeSanctimonious as the two popular Republicans could face off in 2024. This is, of course, a shot across the bow, indicating like, hey, if you get into the 2024 race, I might try to wreck you. And in response, while Trump was having a rally this weekend, DeSantis chose not to appear at the Trump rally in Florida. Now, I mean, Trump is going around doing these rallies, boosting the turnout for Republican candidates, and his record so far in terms of picking winners is pretty good. Now, that part of that is he having that much influence, or is he just smart enough to pick the Republicans that are going to win and endorse them and make himself look like a better kingmaker? I don't know, probably. So, oh man, something buzzed. So Ron DeSanctimonious. Now, where do I come down on this? I like the fact that Trump is a box shaker and will rattle people up, but he didn't fire enough people when he was in office. And I so far like the policies and stuff that Ron did, especially during the pandemic, where he was like, no, we're not going to curtail people's freedom. We're just going to make stuff available. We're going to do a good job of distributing the vaccine for people that want to take the vaccine, but we're not going to make anybody do it. We're not going to curtail any freedoms. So I like some of the stuff that Ron's doing, and I'm totally like on the fence, and I personally consider it very possible that other people could be in the race, and I might and that's the wrong one. I might endorse them, but we'll have to see how this shakes out. But we've got the beginnings of the rivalry between Trump and DeSantis, and it doesn't mean that they would necessarily be like at odds forever. They could come out the gate like this, and then it could end up being like Trump DeSantis in a combo ticket in 2 years. You just don't know. But I don't know. In terms of Trumpism nicknames in comparison to Sleepy Joe and Pocahontas, where would you rank Ron DeSanctimonious? Is it as powerful?
No.
It's not. Is that as sticky?
No.
It's a little bit weak, because you have to know that sanctimonious means that like you come out with like your snooty, I'm better than you, nose up policies. You have to kind of know what sanctimonious means.
Yeah, that's not a good one.
It's not that great. And, Maybe it's just for show. Maybe it's just like maybe it's a little bit low effort on Trump's part. Like,
It
like I'm
is.
gonna jab you a little bit, but not that much.
Trump is, we're past him. I'm past him.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm
I
past him, and I
I
really
think
I still stand back what I said a long time ago. I think that he should not run anymore. I think it's just a distraction at this point. I know he did good things, and I know he's still got 4 more years, but at this point, if he did at this point, he's not getting back into office, and if he did, it would be 4 years of nothing being done because people being pissed off
it
trying
would
to
be
do,
pretty
we're just gumming up the system with him right
for
now,
sure.
and
I'm
I
I'm
have
I
nothing
totally
against him. We're gumming
that's
up
a
the
very valid argument to me. I'd be like, I can buy that argument. I mean,
yeah,
one, way too old. Can we have less old people?
yeah,
But the thing that would sell me totally would be like, I want a president that would say, I'm going to insist that Congress reverse the war powers stuff and claim back the war powers and stop letting the president do
do whatever the
foreign
hell he
adventurism
wants. Yeah,
into foreign countries with no votes.
and we're gonna
I
get
want a
to
president that forces Congress to reclaim its responsibility. That's what I would like to see,
yeah.
or just say it's not the government's role. It's not the federal government's role to tell states how to do everything. So any candidate that comes in, I would be like, oh, you want less power? Okay, I'm down for that. Something just keeps blinging me. I think it's Zeno on Discord. Okay, so the thought was interesting. So what am I talking about when I have this title? Are DEMs imploding in the final 48 hours? So I've seen this. Now you may have seen where is the Fetterman? The Fetterman one. I don't know. Honestly, the Fetterman one is sad. There was this floating around on Twitter this weekend. There was a video, like a 30-second video clip of Fetterman giving a speech at some sort of a rally,
Yeah.
and he talks about. I think he talks about Obama coming to help him out or whatever. I'm not even going to find the video. And there's a Fetterman in front of a microphone. There's a bunch of American flags, and Fetterman starts talking, and all of the American flags just fall over. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it
I
becomes like
seen that.
it's a
I seen the
metaphor. And
I seen the other one where as soon as they fell over, they had a bunch of Russian flags pop up behind him.
oh, I haven't seen that.
I mean, as soon as it
and
fell over, they popped right up.
I did see a video this week. I mean, we've talked about it before. Fetterman suffered a stroke. Fetterman's brain is damaged, and it's not like I'm making fun. Like,
We're
the
not
guy's
making
running for
fun.
Congress,
You
and he
s you
can't. He
suffer a
can't.
stroke, you have brain damage. Yeah.
He
Let's
can't talk. He can't. He
reiterate that
can't.
again.
Yeah, he can't listen. He can't talk. He can't process audio. He in the debate, which I remember that maybe you didn't see all of it. He basically kept saying he's running on Roe v. Wade, bring back Roe v. Wade, codify it, whatever. And in there was a clip this weekend of him talking at a rally and trying to say, he said, I'm running on Roe v. Wade. And then he said, I celebrate the demise of Roe v. Wade. That's two opposite things, but his brain doesn't process audio right. So he was not trying to say that he celebrates the demise of Roe v. Wade, but those are exactly his words. I celebrate the demise of Roe v. Wade. So anyway, it's just more evidence that
Yeah,
he's not
we
fit for
need
the
more
job.
people like that in office.
More people that have brain injuries.
Would have brain
We've got a
injuries.
lot. We've got a
Yeah.
lot.
I know we've got a lot in there.
What we should do, what we really need is an American public that assumes their political leaders have brain injuries and acts accordingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
True.
Okay. All right. So now I'm not going to pull up embarrassing videos of Fetterman. You guys are welcome to Google it. I mean, it's true. It happened. He's out there. Okay. So there is this. Now, Joe Manchin is one of two senators that are kind of in the middle. Now, the thing about a split Senate is that the people in the middle wield the most power. Joe Manchin is a Democrat, but he is not a far left progressive psychopath. He's like a reasonable guy and, trying to go for like, honestly, old 90s, Democrat values back when Democrats were, not dominated by ideology, right? So Joe Manchin's kind of right in the middle. and tends to vote like with Republicans, especially for things like systemic stability. So Joe Manchin will not vote to overturn or to destroy the oh, now I forgot the word. F. Uh, there's a rule in the Senate where you cannot stop the Senate from debating on certain issues, right? Like if people insist on debating, you cannot overturn that without having 60 votes. And that is a long held rule of the Senate, and it's held there so that the policies that come out of the Senate are forced to be deliberated. So Jeremy, somebody remind me of the word. I can't remember the word. So he won't overturn that because that's a systemic component that makes the Senate an institution and not just a politically dominated body. So he's kind of in the middle. Joe Manchin, Democrat, demands Joe Biden apologize for offensive and disgusting coal comments. So I'm not sure exactly which coal comments he means, but I mean, you guys can pretty much assume that it's, Biden saying something about dirty energy and coal being dirty. President Biden's comments are not only outrageous and divorced from reality, they ignore the severe economic pain the American people are feeling because of rising energy costs. Comments like these, and I don't know what the quote was. Comments like these are the reason the American people are losing trust in President Biden. Politicizing our nation's energy policies would only bring higher prices and more pain to the American people. So Joe Manchin, who I don't know if he is running to keep his seat right now, but 2 days before an election to come out and a statement like this is not a positive endorsement of his team. So pretty interesting that he's going that far out on a ledge, unless he's running. Maybe he's running. I don't know what state he's in, but it's one of the. He's not in Kentucky, so he's not in Georgia. I don't know where. I don't know what's. Oh, West Virginia. He's in West Virginia.
Lots of coal over in them there hills.
So regarding coal, over on Twitter, Elon Musk took over Twitter last week and basically announced to 50% of the employees, hey, you're not fired right now, but you can't come back to work. You're locked out of the building. And in 3 months, you're definitely going to be fired. So here is a bunch of severance pay and you're going to be fired, but we're according to the law. And meanwhile, while you are not yet fired but can't work, you have to abide by company policies and basically you can't run your mouth about Twitter or whatever. So like half of Twitter is basically about to be totally fired. So the response on Twitter has been a new hashtag emerging, making fun of these people who worked in tech that don't have a job. And now they need to hashtag learn to coal, which if you remember a couple of years ago, Twitter banned, not me, but a bunch of people on the right that were making fun of the comments about learn to code because, Biden, Democrats, anti-energy establishment was pushing this message out that like we can, we American people can change our economy and we don't need to have energy-based jobs. We can have tech-based jobs. So those former coal miners, if you can, I think Joe Biden actually said this, if you can work coal, you can learn to code. And then the right was making fun of it by hashtag learn to code. And Twitter's response back then, ban all the people that were making fun of it. Well, now Twitter's fired and they can learn to coal. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, learn to coal. Yeah, you can get down in the coal mine and did like our forefathers did for a long time. Yeah. I think the problem is that all these little 20 and 30-year-olds that have come up in their little privileged bubbles and they have these little privileged jobs where they think that they work 6 hours a day and they think that they've got a really, really hard job because they work 6 hours a day and it's really, really tough.
Yeah.
And they all they do is sit around all day. I think they forget that you can't flip a switch. You just can't flip a switch.
I mean, I don't know. We could be on the very verge of people having to live very different and much more difficult lives, or work much harder to get much less stuff, unless we can like really kickstart stuff and I don't know, stop strangling our economy. You're not only competing against ourselves internally, we're competing against the entire rest of the world, and the entire rest of the world is lining up against us. The BRICS nations would be so happy to just destroy American leadership in finance and in energy. We've got a lot of enemies in the world, and you think a lot of people think that like, oh, we're all humans are the same, we're all the same people, we're global whatever, and then like they think everybody else in the world has the same attitude
Right.
of
Right.
mutual harmony. No, the rest of the world would like, they would kill you. A lot of people in the world would kill you for no reason, and they definitely want to see our entire country fall
A
because
lot of
they've
these
lived.
people a lot of these
Go ahead.
people in the world, that if they knew how some of these Twitter employees lived and worked, Jesus Christ, the most
Mm.
privileged people ever. Is that what you're still talking about, or am I completely just jerking
No,
the bus off the
I'm
rodent?
just. I think we're meandering a little bit. Okay,
Yes.
so I'm still kind of on energy here. So here's some more comments that Joe Biden made this weekend, because it's the last couple of days before the election. So you really go to those real battleground states and really try to push the middle over. Well, I mean, unless you're totally losing, in which case you go to your own blue states to just make sure you don't lose more. So Joe Biden is campaigning in New York and New Mexico this weekend. He's not in those bubble purple states that can go right to the edge. He's on the blue states. Like, I hope we don't lose New York. That'd be real embarrassing. So Joe Biden promises a climate activist in a New York rally, quote, no more drilling. He said, no more drilling. There is no more drilling. I haven't formed any new drilling. Okay. He's telling climate activists in New York, no more drilling. We're killing the energy industry. But in New Mexico, he says, let's see, in New Mexico, we haven't slowed them down at all being drilling. They should be drilling more than they're doing right now. He said at a rally in New Mexico. If they were drilling more, we'd have more relief at the pump. Joe Biden is both telling extremists, I'm with you, no more drilling, and people suffering in New Mexico, well, if they were drilling more, gas prices wouldn't be so high.
If he's a perfect politician, man. He's like one of these guys around here.
It really is.
They tell you what you wanna hear, and I swear he'd be like, "Yeah, I think that road needs to be closed. You're exactly right, JJ," and he turns around and looks at me, and I'll be like, "I think that road needs to be open. Yeah, I think you're right. That road needs to be open."
Yeah, it like nothing sticks in his head. He's just
No.
literally saying whatever he thinks
Whatever
the
you
audience is
say,
supposed to hear.
he's like a
Whatever.
parrot.
I'm with you. I'm with
Yeah,
you.
I think
So
that's one of they just parrot whatever you say.
so Joe Biden, Joe Biden, no more drilling, and then he nearly collapses on stage, trying to save Kathy Hochul. Kathy Hochul, I believe, is a Governor Cuomo was ousted from office. Kathy Hochul was put into office, not elected in. Governor Cuomo was, of course, the New York dictator that killed a bunch of people in old folks' homes by putting COVID patients back into old folks' homes.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
Hochul, he was ousted from office for a sex scandal. Hochul was put into office, and now she's running the first time to be elected into that position. And it's New York, so you expect Democrats to win New York. Lee Zeldin is her opponent, the Republican candidate, and he's shrinking the lead. So Joe Biden's out there trying to defend the New York governor seat. Okay, so I think maybe that's most of the political stuff. I covered the Twitter thing. I got this story.
What you gonna do tomorrow? Don't you have something special tomorrow?
So tomorrow morning we're going to do our regular show, and then tomorrow night
Yeah.
I'm going to do a watch party. Of course, Deacon, you're invited if you want, but I imagine that you're busy. Otherwise, drop in, drop out, and anybody
Tomorrow
that is
night, I
a
actually will be rehearsing for the Christmas
yeah,
Carol, so
right. So I'm going to be watching the returns come in for a couple hours. probably like as soon as my kids go to bed, I'll get online and I'll start checking the polls, and I'll start checking the states that are closing. We're gonna have states that are closing. I'm planning on doing bingo, so we'll have some. I'm gonna work today to get the bingo card generator set up so that we can run off bingo cards. Anybody that wants to join in, tune in. If you're a supporter or if you're over on our Discord server, which you can get to by becoming a FUNSLINGER member, there's a website, whatever, just sign up and it's free to join. And if you love the show and you want to love us with dollars, you sure can. But it's free to join. You can get into our Discord server, and I'll have the link available for FUNSLINGERS to join in, and we can have, I think I can have like 6 people on screen at a time. If you've got, I want to see Mr. E and Brian, but Brian probably is going to be working the booth, so he's probably going to be like.
Say, who was it? Was it Mr. E that recommended that I watch a Burn Notice?
I don't know. I was saying we should watch Burn Notice the other day, but I think somebody brought it up. I don't know. Burn Notice is a good show. Did you check it out?
I'm on like the 2nd season.
Oh, already? It's a great show.
It's pretty good. It's kind of hokey at some points because you're kind of like, oh, well, it's a TV show. Wouldn't you have ran the other way? Or well, how did they do that? How, you gotta give it a little bit for the for a TV show. You got to give it a little bit. And it's really hard for me to do that because I'm the asshole that sits in the movies and I'm like, wait a minute, that wasn't right. That's me. I'm that ass. Okay. But it's good. I really like it. I like Bruce Campbell's character, Sam.
So
he's cool. All the characters are really, really good.
So as far as tomorrow night goes, like I totally want people here, especially if they have different outcome desires than me. Like I know I want to see like Democrats lose, but if you're pulling for some people in your place, come on and let's just talk about it. We can talk about like, hey, why are you for that? Why are you against that? And I want to have people that don't agree with me here. and Deacon and I don't disagree all that much, but we disagree on some things. But I want to have a little bit of representation of different views. So if you have candidates that you're watching their returns come in, hang out, show up, and we will play bingo. And I might have my whiskey, and I don't know. I don't know the rules exactly yet, but it'll be for an hour or two. We'll watch the returns come in. Maybe we'll see some concession speeches. I don't know. I know if we saw one concession speech, it would be a total disaster. It'd be great.
Listen, I have seen JJ when he sips his whiskey, and let me tell you, you think he talks a lot now. Wait until he gets a little buzz going.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. If something funny happens and I'm liquored up, I mean, I'll probably just cry right here laughing on screen. But anyway. Okay.
Those are always the best podcast. UMC's
best
best
for me.
When JJ was sipping whiskey.
I'm only here for fun. Come here, showstopper. Can you come say hi to Uncle Deacon? And then we'll go. Thanks for watching. Come on. You don't want to say hi to Deacon? Come here, you.
I don't know if he's seen your mermaid.
Oh, yeah. Let's show Deacon your mermaid. Come here, you. Look at this. Can you say?
No, that's not Sophia. Who's the mermaid?
You want to tell Uncle Deacon where you got that mermaid
from?
from?
Where'd you get this from?
I got this from
Goodwill for doing
Goodwill from doing chores.
Awesome.
For doing chores. Oh, you did chores. You earned money and you bought it yourself.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness, you are such a little capitalist. I love it.
That's awesome, though.
Now, sweetie, can you tell everybody that they should subscribe to rumble.com/JJW? Can you say subscribe now?
It's short.
Subscribe now.
Oh yeah, there we go. All right. All right, so we'll be back tomorrow morning with the news. We'll be back. Clear your agenda. You can turn on CNN and Fox News and everything else, and also our show, and watch the returns come in. And we'll be here tomorrow night. And I don't know. I guess that's it. I'm sure there's going to be no interesting news happen in the next 24 hours. Everything's going to be, same old for sure. Thanks for watching, everybody. Where's the outro clip? There it is. Bye.